Where am I? What's going on? I feel like I'm falling, spinning. I'm not in space, I can't see any stars, but... well, I'm pretty sure I'm not dead. Am I dreaming? Thompson. I thought I recognized that stupid laugh. He served under my command a long time ago. I even counted him as among one of my friends. The biggest mistake I ever made was putting him forward for promotion. My fiancée could tell he was trouble. She tried to warn me, and I just didn't listen. He was brash, arrogant, impetuous, always at odds with the superiors, and even with me near the end. It all came to a head in our defense of Tannhauser against the Chinese. He disobeyed a direct order, and instead of waiting for the signal for the counterattack, he charged in for his own glory. Not only did he get himself killed, but it also resulted in the deaths of 7 members of his own squad, including 3 guys, all of whom were under 18. They were just kids. Even though I was cleared of any wrongdoing, it was still my decision to put him forward for a promotion that caused it all, and it's something I've had to live with for all these years. But that accursed ship, I don't know where it went, but whatever happened to it, whatever it brought back, it was pure evil. It got into my mind and used that regret against me. It taunted me. It tried to bring me back to the ship's core, either to kill me or trick me into coming back with it to the dimension it came from. I was barely able to make it out alive. Unfortunately, the rest of my crew weren't so lucky. Dr. Mina Sarkar, I was too late. I couldn't save her. Dr. Sho Takahashi, I don't know what happened to him. He was on that ship. I couldn't have left him behind. The last thing I remember him saying was, "The darkness, it's coming for me." What? Sho, what's happening? Where are you? Takahashi, can you hear me? Please respond.
Soon I will be with my children. I can see them.
Commander, you get just the device from an abnormally long period in cryostasis, and your blood pressure and heart rate is dangerously high. I strongly recommend you use the medical room immediately. Commander, are you alright? According to these readings, your body is still showing symptoms of increased stress.
It's okay, Ben, I'm fine. Really. It was just a stupid nightmare. Just bad dreams about bad memories. I was back on the event horizon again, next to the core. I saw Dr. Takahashi. The core had stopped spinning, and in the center, instead of the sphere, it was just black. Almost like it was made of water or oil or something. And Takahashi was reaching out towards it, but his eyes were missing, just like the body we found on the bridge. And then he reached out and touched it and screamed, and then he was gone. Just gone. It was like the core just pulled him into that other dimension. That doesn't even bear thinking about. But it doesn't make any sense. I was never in the core at the same time as Takahashi. When I spoke to him last, I was in the medical room. Anyway, it was just a nightmare. It doesn't mean anything. We've got bigger problems to sort out right now. Ben, give me a status report.
Acknowledged, Commander. I can confirm that we have arrived safely at the outer regions of the asteroid field in the Alpha Centauri A star system. I have maneuvered the rescue ship so that it is now matching the relative speed and velocity of the asteroids in orbit around the star. Unfortunately, I cannot provide you with a spectral analysis of any of the nearby asteroids at this time, as the rescue ship is not equipped with an ore scanner.
Yeah, that's okay, Ben. This ship wasn't meant to be a mining vessel anyway. We're kind of spoilt for choice of all these asteroids out here, which means we can get away with doing it the old-fashioned way. Choose one, get up close, and mine the ores using a pneumatic hand drill. Now the trick is to find an asteroid that is both big enough for us to mine effectively and isn't too far away. That large grey one over there looks as though it could be a likely candidate. And it's close. Right, decision made. Just making sure that I approach the asteroid at an angle so that the rescue ship does not crash into it.
Commander, while you were in cryostasis, I utilized the new technology we discovered in order to create a number of software upgrades for your onboard personal computer. These make changes to the menu system and the readouts on your helmets, HUD, and should greatly assist you on the welding and fabrication of any new modules.
Nice one.
In order to install the software upgrade, you will be required to place your existing onboard personal computer into the assembler. The process should only take a few seconds to complete.
That will be useful. Thanks, Ben. I'll install that in a few minutes once we reach the asteroid and the ship comes to a halt. This thing's actually a lot bigger than I thought. I'll probably bring the ship into position next to that rock formation that's sticking out to the left over there. There we go. That should do it. Okay, let's go and get this software upgrade. I'll just stick the onboard computer into the assembler and there.
Installing. Software upgrade installed. It is now safe to remove your onboard personal computer from the assembler and attach it back onto your spacesuit.
Right, let's check it out. Hey, nice one. All the information that was previously only on my arm display is actually on the HUD now, so I've got my energy, oxygen supply, hydrogen for the jetpack. Now, while I would have preferred icons and gauges rather than just plain text everywhere, it's still pretty damn cool. Thanks, Ben.
You're welcome, Commander. If you require any further assistance, please do not hesitate to ask.
Will do. I'll just take this drill, grinder and welder. Just to be safe, I'll take a bottle of oxygen with me and an extra bottle of hydrogen for the jetpack. Now I should be all set to have a look at this asteroid outside, and hopefully make a start at mining some of the ore on it. I'd better put my lights on for this. Right, let's see what we've got. Now the hand drill does have a built-in ore scanner. Unfortunately its range is rather limited, so I'm going to have to get it pretty close to the asteroid to detect any ore veins that are not obvious from the surface.
Commander, there is a 96.5% chance that the reddish-brown colored rock you see there could contain significant concentrations of iron ore.
Yep, I see it. Thanks, Ben. Now, being a pilot, I've never actually mined anything in my entire life, so this could be interesting. Well, here goes. Well, that didn't do much, apart from sending tiny bits of asteroid into space. I'll try again. This time I'll keep the drill on for longer. See if I can knock off a larger chunk. That's more like it. Hey, come back you. Curse you, lack of gravity. Oh, of course it is. Damn it. That's the main drawback of mining asteroids manually. Your backpack doesn't have that much space to carry the ore. But hey, it's a start, and as they say, every little counts. Now the question is, if I put this iron ore into the small cargo container here, will it automatically be pulled into the refinery to be processed? And the answer is yes. Excellent. I need as much space in my inventory as I can squeeze in, so I'm going to leave the grinder and the welder here and just take the drill with me. I'll keep the oxygen and hydrogen tanks with me though. I don't want to run out of either of those whilst I'm in space. That could be bad. Okay, let's see if I can gather a little more ore this time. No? Okay, I'll try again. I think that might actually be around about the same amount as last time, except I haven't run out of inventory space. Something tells me I've got a long day ahead of me. Ben, is it just me or does the rescue ship look a little more battered than normal? I'm seeing dents and missing paint all over the outer hull here.
Affirmative, Commander. It does appear as though the rescue ship has taken some additional damage since we left the Sol system. The damage, however, appears to only be superficial, and there are no hull breaches detected.
Copy that, Ben. It's still something I'd like to fix sooner rather than later. If the ship continues to take damage like this, then we will eventually lose structural integrity and there will be a hull breach. Or worse, parts of the ship could be knocked off and start drifting away into space. Just recharging my suit's power supply here. I've noticed the ship has enough reactor fuel to last for another 23 days, but that's only when it's sitting idle. When the machines are running, that'll probably shorten down to about 12, maybe 15 hours at the most. It's still plenty time, but it won't hurt to gather more uranium, just to make sure we've got more than enough fuel for the reactor. The last thing we need is to run out of power at a critical moment. This asteroid is a really weird shape. I wonder if it was formed by several asteroids colliding and eventually sticking together. Ah, it looks like I found another type of ore here. I wonder which one it is. Ah, perfect! Just what I'm looking for.
Commander, that uranium you have found can be processed by the refinery and used as fuel in the rescue ship's nuclear reactor.
Copy that, Ben. I'm way ahead of you. Oh look, a cave! Let's go inside and see what we can find. If it's deep enough, it might be able to give us access to ores deep within the asteroid itself. Hey, is that what I think it is up ahead? Glistening in all its blue glory upon the cavern wall? I guess there's only one way to find out. Haha, yes!
Commander, you appear to have found some frozen chunks of water, also known as ice.
Why thanks, Ben, although I have to admit I had kind of figured that one out for myself already, what with the colour of it being bright blue, and the fact that my HUD said ice when I looked at it.
Of course, Commander. I was just making sure, in case your vision was still affected by the prolonged hibernation. I would hate to think that you may have missed something as important as ice, especially considering how vital it is for your own survival.
Oh really? Gee, thanks, Mom.
I'm sorry, Commander. I am not programmed to respond to the name, Mom. Would you like me to add it to my list of recognized names for me, alongside Benson and Ben?
No, Ben. Just ignore that. Just respond to the names of Benson and Ben. Thanks.
By your command.
Oh man. And the worst thing is, I don't know whether he's actually being deathly serious, or if it's some AI attempt at simulating humour again. Right, let's stick the ice and the uranium into this cargo container, and hopefully they should both be processed automatically. Yeah, there we go. The uranium is taking significantly longer to process than the iron, but then again, I already kind of expected that. The ice has been pulled straight into the oxygen generator, which is good. From there, it'll be melted, turned into water, which is then electrolyzed into oxygen and hydrogen, both of which I will need to survive. The oxygen, obviously, I need to breathe, and the hydrogen is used as fuel for my jetpack. Yeah, because the refinery is drawing power from the reactor core to process the uranium, it's dropped down from 23 days worth of power to just 12 hours. This will go up again once the refinery stops. I just need to be aware that if I ever use any machines or accelerate using the engines, it will draw more power from the core and display less amount of fuel time available. I have to admit, I do like these software upgrades in the way that it lets me access the assembler from here as well. I mean, from this view I can actually review all the components that the assembler can produce, along with all the material requirements they need as well. This is going to be vital when it comes to building modules, required both for improving the ship or for building a space station. Okay, I'm going to move the rescue ship closer to the iron ore vein, so that way I don't have to spend as long travelling back and forth between the two. That should be close enough. There we go. Now, if I remember correctly, I can also access the refinery from outside of the rescue ship, just at the back here. Just out of curiosity, Ben, there's probably small amounts of the ore we need trapped within the rock in this asteroid, not just in the ore veins. I know that the refinery can process stone into gravel. Is there any way we can further extract useful ore from that?
Yes, Commander. I have the designs for an industrial centrifuge stored within my database. This can be used to separate the useful ores from the less useful silicates. This uses a significantly larger and more powerful centrifuge than the one found in the refinery. Be advised that it will consume a huge amount of energy during use. I therefore recommend that you keep mining for rich ore veins and still use the standard refinery until we've constructed a larger and more efficient means of power generation.
Agreed. Thanks, Ben. At least it's something we can consider for future operations. There we go. The uranium that's been refined and put into the reactor core has given us an extra 2 days worth of fuel. That's assuming the ship stays idle, of course. I'll also take this opportunity to refill my oxygen bottle. I don't want to suffocate out there. That could be bad. Well, now that I've got the basics for survival, I think it's about time I started to repair the damage to the exterior of this ship. And in order to do that, I will need to use the assembler up there and make some steel plates. I'll use those, along with the welder, to try and repair as much of the damage as I can in the meantime. Now, bearing in mind once again that as a ship's pilot I have had very little, if any, experience with using an assembler. I did take part in a crash course to use one of these many years ago, but it's still very much a learning experience for me. Okay, hopefully that should be enough to get started. I'll just do a quick check of the interior first, see if anything needs fixed up here, and then I'll move on to the outside. You know, I'd never actually realised how much damage this poor ship had taken until now. I just hope I've got enough steel plates. Well, I guess that answers that question. I feel like I'm playing zero-G soccer now. I actually have no idea why I just made that. I'll keep it though, might come in useful later on. Commander Robertson! The interstellar panel beater strikes again! What a surprise. Out of steel plates again. I suppose I really should mine a lot more ore and manufacture a lot more plates before I carry on fixing up the rest of the ship, but let's take a look. I mean, it's looking a lot better than it was previously. There we go, that'll do for now. I reckon maybe 1 or 2 more trips back and forth between the asteroid and this rescue ship, and hopefully I'll have enough steel plates to fix up the rest of it. And once that's done, my next plan is to try and see if I can build a base, either on the outside or maybe even the inside of that asteroid where that cave was, and use that as a temporary base of operations. Overall, I've got a good feeling about this. I've got ice, which means we've got water, oxygen, hydrogen, uranium, which means we can power the reactor, and with the iron and other resources we can get from these asteroids, I reckon we could be in with a good chance of finally, one day, making it back home.